Yes, Luke or our viewers, in today's video we are going to figure out who is the best WWE wrestler of every single letter inside of the alphabet. There are 26 letters in the alphabet and I chose 26 wrestlers, and just to be aware, these are my genuine opinions, so I would love to hear your opinions down in the comments, and let's just get on with it. So for letter A, there were a few wrestlers I could pick from: Andre the Giant, Adam Cole if I really wanted to, and many others. But I obviously chose one of the greatest of all time, not only for the letter A, but for the entire wrestlers, professional wrestling, AJ Styles. Now, this guy has a record of amazing matches, amazing accomplishments, amazing rivals, amazing opponents, and all that. Like the feud with John Cena, and the feud with Gunther, the feud with Roman Reigns and the Shield, the feud with Seth Rollins, the feud with Samoa Joe in TNA, and like all that. And this guy has been in many like businesses as well, and like the accomplishments, the US title, the WWE title, the World Heavyweight Championship, all these like accomplishments that this guy has made just outnumbers anybody else who has the letter A at the start of their name. So that's why I picked the phenomenal AJ Styles. Now for the letter B, it's a bit similar to C. Like, I could have picked Braun Strowman, I could have picked Brock Lesnar, I could have picked Bobby Lashley, I could have picked Brian Hendrick, and I could have picked all these amazing superstars. But I picked, in my opinion, the greatest modern day woman wrestler, which is Bianca Belair. So the accomplishments and the rivals and the matches she's been in, like the match at WrestleMania 41 with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, the rivalries with like Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill and Naomi, and the feud leading up to WrestleMania with them two women. It's just so amazing. So like chef kiss, if you know what I mean. And like the accomplishments being like a multi-time women's champion, multi-time Elimination Chamber winner, and Royal Rumble winner. She's just so good, and that's why I picked the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. Moving on with the letter D, which had good contenders. We had Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Drew Gulak, Daniel Bryan, Dwayne Johnson, which I probably wouldn't have picked because that doesn't really count. That's The Rock, but that's for R. But overall, I didn't go with somebody that's like in-ring wise or like moveset wise or like in-ring ability or like, well, promos are good, but I went with one of the best comedy wrestlers right now and probably ever. Well, not ever because like R-Truth, but I went with one of my personal favourite wrestlers, Danhausen. Now, Danhausen, please don't put any shame on his, but I just love Danhausen. Like, honestly, I just find him so hilarious, so comedic, so humorous, and it's like every single time I see Danhausen on my television screen, I just have a smile on my face, and it always just puts me in a good mood whenever I'm watching professional wrestling, Raw and SmackDown. Whenever I see Danhausen, it's just such a good time, and that's why I picked Danhausen. Now, he didn't have too much, and I'm not going to get into that because, if I'm being honest, I can't really think of any other than Edge. And he's, in my heart, he's not Adam Copeland. He's not Cope. He's not like a big guy. Well, like he is a big guy in AEW, but like he's not that in my eyes. And I just see Edge. Like, Edge has just had so many good rivalries and accomplishments and accolades over his years being in WWE. A multi-time Royal Rumble winner, a multi-time Money in the Bank winner, one of the greatest cash-ins on John Cena, a really good rivalry with CM Punk, Jeff Hardy, having that live section with Lita, and like multi-time WWE champion. It's just Edge is just like one of those wrestlers where if you look at them, like you just think of WWE, if you know what I mean. Like when you look at Edge, you just like your mind isn't on AEW or like any other shows or like any other things that it's been a part of. It's just WWE, and Edge is just. I'm not going to call him the greatest of all time because I've got another wrestler coming up that's the greatest of all time. But he's just one of the best, one of the greatest to ever do it in WWE, and that's why I picked Edge. And for F, same thing with E. There wasn't um, any other wrestler than Finn Balor. And even if there was contenders for F, I think I would have still picked Finn Balor. Because people like to call him Finn Balor, put him in memes, put him in just conversations that, like stuff that he doesn't belong in. Like, oh my, like Edge is, like Finn Balor is bad, he's just really bad. But in my heart, Finn Balor is so good. Like the Judgment Day stuff, the Damian Priest stuff, the Dominic Mysterio stuff, the Rhea Ripley stuff, the Liv Morgan stuff, being betrayed by Judgment Day, NXT Black and Gold, being like champion, Universal champion, WWE champion, like it's just like Finn Balor's just really, really good, and that's why I picked F for Finn Balor. And for G, there was a couple of contenders. I could have went with Goldberg, I could have went with the Great Khali, but overall I went with Gunther. And I put Gunther top 3 best wrestlers, like technical wrestlers, like wrestling, like not wrestling entertainment, but wrestling. Gunther's just so good. The accomplishments and the rivalries and the storylines and just all this, like being 2-time final 2 in a Royal Rumble match, being like couple-time world champion, and ending John Cena's career, and then Goldberg's career, and then AJ Styles' career, just really like makes this guy really good in my heart and like in my eyes. But also I think he's a better wrestler than a better accomplishment, if you know what I mean. Like Gunther is just so good at wrestling, and he's also a good storyline teller and like a good like rivalry teller, but he's just a really good professional wrestler. Now for H, same thing with F and E. There wasn't a lot of contenders. There was only one man that just represents WWE, and that is Hulk Hogan. Now Hulk Hogan is like on this list, like there's only one man on this list that I would put in the category next to Hulk Hogan, but a little bit below. Like Hulk Hogan made WWE to what it is today. WWE didn't make him like a lot of these wrestlers on this list. Hulk Hogan represented WWE. Hulk Hogan, he's just he is WWE, if you know what I mean. And like I know the stuff that he did is like really bad, like being racist and all that. But if we remove what he done to the bad, he's just like I don't know how to describe it. He's just incredible. He's just the greatest of all time in like for WWE. And that's why I picked Hulk Hogan for the letter H. Now for I, this is the same thing with Gunther. He's a better technical wrestler and a better sharp wrestler. And that is Ilya Dragunov. Now Ilya Dragunov, he isn't as good as Gunther, in my opinion, and he's probably three best technical wrestlers in my eyes. Like for the best technical wrestlers, I would go Gunther at number one, Io Sky at number two, and Ilya Dragunov at number three. Now, Ilya Dragunov has a good accomplishments and rivalries and amazing, incredible matches. But I don't think he's as good as a Gunther or Io Sky. Like his accomplishments, winning the being close to winning the King of the Ring, being a good amount of times US champion, having amazing open challenges. He's just really good, and that's why I picked Ilya Dragunov for the letter I. Now the letter J had a solid amount of contenders like Jimmy Uso, Jade Cargill, and Jay Uso, and like I could go on, but this is the guy that I was talking about with the Hulk Hogan one. That's like in the same category of Hulk Hogan, of like he made WWE, or like he people know about WWE because of this guy, but he's not as that as Hulk Hogan. And I went with John Cena. Now John Cena is called the greatest of all time, not only in a fan's perspective, but of a commentators and like ring announcers and like referees and stuff like that, and other wrestlers as well. And the accomplishments, like where do I even start? Like multi-time Royal Rumble winner, like 17 world titles. And I know he's retired, but let's come on. And like open challenges for the US title, Intercontinental, a Grand Slam as well, like Money in the Bank. I don't even know if he's won Money in the Bank. I don't think so, but what am I saying? Anyways, like Elimination Chamber, a rivalries with like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Edge, and like he's just really good in my eyes. Like, he's just amazing. Now, with the letter K, we had a couple of contenders: Kane, Kalisto, Karrion Cross, But I went with one of the best women's wrestlers in NXT, and probably when she gets called up to the main roster, and probably all time. And I'm talking about Kendall Gray. Now, at the making of this video, Kendall Gray is the NXT Women's Champion. And people say that she's like a woman's version of Kurt Angle. And I can't argue with that, because the way she makes technical moves look, the way she makes high-flying moves look, the way she makes powerhouse moves look, the way she uses her in-ring ability, her IQ in the ring, and all this makes Kendall Gray one of the best women's wrestlers in NXT, and when she gets called up to the main roster, probably all time. And with the letter L, we didn't have much contenders. We had maybe Liv Morgan, Luke Gallows, but overall, you guys are probably going to be mad at me, but I went with Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul isn't one of those guys like a John Cena or a Randy Orton or a Rey Mysterio, but I think he's like being a modern day from like 2023 or to like 2026, if you know what I mean. Like Logan Paul is really good in the ring. He's a really good high flying superstar, and like he's just so good, and the accomplishments being in the final four of a lot of Royal Rumbles, being a US champion, being a tag team champion, being in like a couple of elimination chambers, being like headlined in like a lot of matches, being in the main event of a Money in the Bank, being in Money in the Bank matches, being like he's went against Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, like Rey Mysterio, and like all of these, like He's just so, like Cody Rhodes. He's just so good. With Bella, we had Mansoor and I don't know, but I went with Mark Henry. Don't know much about Mark Henry, but I know that he's really strong. He's a Hall of Famer, so won't really beast him off. He's been in matches with The Undertaker, Batista, John Cena, and yeah. And and I went with a really super underrated wrestler right now, and I went with Natty. Not Natalia, Natty. She's like really, really good. And she deserves her final match to be on like a WrestleMania. She's been in NXT, formed her alliance with a couple NXT superstars. Um, a lot of accomplishments, being in a lot of title matches. Lost them, but um, like had feuds with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. She's just really good and underrated in my eyes, and I think she's just one of the best, and that's why I put her in the best of the letter N. The letter O, we had a few, but this guy isn't like a John Cena or a Mysterio, if you know what I mean. But he's just good humor, good comedy, and I went with Otis. Now, Otis has been in WWE for like a hot minute, I think. Being um, a Money in the Bank winner, tag team championships, being in a really good rival with Maxine Dupree, Akira Tozawa, Chad Gable, um, had a match with Gunther, had rival rivalries, and I think Otis is the best for the letter O because I couldn't really think of any more O's, but I think it's just really good for O. And with the letter P, I kind of cheated a little bit because I didn't go with the wrestler, I went with the manager. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. And I went with Paul Heyman. Now, I hate Paul Heyman because he betrayed Roman Reigns. But apart from that, if we remove that from what I'm about to say and why I think he's the greatest for the letter P and the best manager, he's had a lot of Paul Heyman guys. He's been in a rivalry with Seth Rollins, with Roman Reigns, with CM Punk in a main event of WrestleMania, multi-time main event WrestleManias, being with the Bloodline, being with the Usos, being with Brock Lesnar, being with Braun Breaker, being with Logan Paul, Austin Theory, all of these, and like ECW, own ECW, and he's just really good being in a lot of like interviews. All of this really gets me to just make Paul Heyman the greatest in WWE or for the letter P. And for Q, there wasn't anybody, so I'm just going to put a Q on your TV right now. There we go. And for the letter R, I went with my favourite wrestler of all time. And I know there's a lot of contenders like Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Rey Mysterio, and all these guys. I have to push them away and just choose my favourite wrestler of all time, my GOAT, Roman Reigns. The storylines, the accomplishments, the rivalries, the matches, the all these, like being a 2 times Royal Rumble winner, having 11 main events at WrestleMania, having matches with the likes of John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Logan Paul, Undertaker, Triple H, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, being in the main event of WrestleMania 40, 41, 42, having all these amazing matches. Like, why? Like, even if I did put in the other wrestlers, it would be a tough choice. But, like, if I wasn't a Roman Reigns fanboy, but probably still would have went with Roman Reigns. I just love Roman Reigns. With the lat S, you guys probably would have thought that I would pick like a Seth Rollins or like a Scott Steiner or like a Scott Hall or all these, but no. I went with one of the best on the mic and in-ring ability, and I went with Sami freaking Zayn. He's a good guy. He's so good, but I wouldn't put him on the levels as a Randy Orton or a Rey Mysterio or Undertaker or Triple H or Umaga. Probably better than Umaga, but Sami Zayn is just really, really good. Being in the main event of WrestleMania, being a WWE champ, being an Intercontinental champ, beating Gunther at WrestleMania, nearly beating Roman Reigns, having a really good match with Roman Reigns, being in a storyline with Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, like all these stuff, NXT Black and Gold, all these stuff that I could say about Sami Zayn makes him so freaking good. One of the best on the mic. And in my personal opinion, it's my opinion, I think he's better than Seth Rollins. But that's a hot take, and that's my opinion, but yeah. With the letter T, there wasn't many wrestlers I could possibly choose from, but I just chose one of the best WWE wrestlers right now and probably ever, Triple H. Triple H is the owner of WWE, being in a lot of WrestleMania main events, in a lot of rivalries, storylines, Evolution, the program of Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's biggest rival. And I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about Triple H, but I'm not going to because I don't want to stress this video out. But yeah, he's just a super good wrestler, one of the best, and yeah. Now with the letter U or or whatever. There was a few Umaga, but I obviously went with one of the goats of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling. The Undertaker. Now, The Undertaker is, in my opinion, he's better than John Cena. He's better than The Rock, but I don't think he's, what am I don't even know what I'm saying in this video, but I just think he's the best for the letter U. I think his accomplishments and his rivalries and stuff. Let me just get into that. The streak, being a multi-time Royal Rumble winner, champion, rivalries with Roman Reigns, Triple H, John Cena, Shawn Michaels. A really good match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H on the street and ending Shawn Michaels' career, his tag team with Kane, tag team champion, and all of this stuff that I could say about The Undertaker is really good. Now here is the wrestlers that I don't know much about, so I'm just going to keep it quick and short and just tell you the wrestlers that I picked for these letters. So for V, I picked Vader, really good wrestler in the 90s. For W, I picked William Regal. He's English, so that's put him on. For X, I could say this about Xavier Woods. The rivalries with the Usos, the matches with the Usos, the accomplishments with Kofi Kingston, the singles, King of the Ring, all this about Xavier Woods. And for Y, the last one, I picked... No, not the last one. Yokozuna. And for Z, I went with Zack Ryder. I hope that everybody enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but get your popcorn, get your drinks, get your family members off their lazy asses and make them watch this video. And I will see you in the next one, in a couple of days maybe. Look out for my Lakeside podcast episodes as well. And I will see you guys soon. Peace.